Have you ever wondered if Michael Jackson and many other people are still alive? I know I have, and so have many others who have been following this show for a long time. You've probably heard that actors are wearing these really lifelike masks and playing the part of some high-profile people, and it's believed that many have already been eliminated and punished for crimes against humanity. We've also heard that some celebrities, such as Michael Jackson and John F. Kennedy Jr., have disappeared voluntarily, faking their deaths just waiting to come out sometime in the near future. I remember when Michael Jackson died, there were a lot of video images and a lot of questions about whether he really had been killed by that propofol overdose that his doctor gave him. EMTs and ER staff testified that he was flatlined when they arrived at the home and at the ER. So ask yourself, why would they put a corpse in a hospital gown? There's another notable observation, and that is that Michael Jackson's body was not taken to the go-to hospital of Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, which is where most celebrities are taken to. So, what's interesting is that I went to see the movie Michael last night, and first I have to say, if you were a Michael Jackson fan, you will absolutely love it. It is jam-packed with his music, and the lead actor who portrayed Michael did an absolutely amazing job. Let me tell you a little bit about this movie. Michael's son, Prince Jackson, was an executive producer, and it was funded by the Michael Jackson estate, after much legal attempts to stop it by some family members. For this reason, Janet, Paris, and Rebby didn't want to be portrayed in the movie. The part of Michael was played by Michael's nephew, Jafar Jackson, who is Jermaine Jackson's son, and the nephew of Michael. They did a wonderful job throughout the movie showing Michael's transformation, and the movie covered from his early childhood to just past the time Michael paused his solo career to do the Victory Tour, which his father coerced him into doing. And yes, the father was portrayed like a real physical abuser, an overall jerk. There were two very puzzling points of interest in this movie, and they both came near the end. The last phrase on the screen was the words, "The story continues." Okay, I get that points to a sequel, but will that sequel be in theaters? The second clue was the dedication. This movie wasn't dedicated to the memory of Michael Jackson. It was dedicated to a different Jackson brother that died, Tito Jackson. A movie entitled Michael isn't dedicated to the memory of Michael. Is that because he's still alive? If you're still convinced he's gone, watch on. For those who don't know the history, shortly before his alleged death, Michael Jackson was engaged in a very public fight with Sony for his music catalog. And if you followed his career and his songs, you saw him changing in the content that he was creating. His songs went from very lucrative commercial music to more rebellious songs like Leave Me Alone and They Don't Really Care About Us. In fact, there were videos at the time of Michael saying that he was going to expose things about the industry and asking people in the audience to shut off their cell phones. So, Michael was clearly in a stage where he was tired of the establishment and he was exposing it. As often happens, the deep state attacked him with numerous charges and tried to destroy him, and nearly did. Michael Jackson allegedly died on June 25, 2009, by an overdose of an anesthetic known as propofol. The prescribing physician, Dr. Conrad Murray, was in the home at the time and only received 4 years in prison for involuntary manslaughter of the King of Pop. What's worse, he was released after serving just 1 year and 11 months due to credit for time served. But a credible source says that Murray got $2 million for his part in Jackson's death if he avoided jail, and another $3 million if he had to do time. Immediately afterwards, many people began questioning Michael's death and the circumstances around it. He was so beloved by many that people just didn't want to believe it. Let's revisit the circumstances. Michael was in hundreds of millions of dollars of debt and was about to embark on a grueling 50-show residency in London. It was widely reported that TMZ broke his death news 18 minutes before official coroner confirmation or even family statements. They seem to be the ones that break lots of fishy reports, just like Nancy Guthrie's kidnapping. But how could they have possibly known? One thing that is peculiar is that many people who won't honor or resist a deal with the devil are accused of unspeakable things to destroy them as a warning of the industry control. Michael didn't escape that, and the allegations themselves almost did destroy him. After he was acquitted on all counts in his high-profile child molestation trial in 2005, Michael left the courthouse, waved to his fans, and returned to Neverland for a brief time. But then, he literally dropped off the public radar for years, never to return to his beloved Neverland. After numerous police searches tearing his home apart, Michael felt that it had been destroyed by these memories, and he left his dream home of Neverland. For roughly 1.5 to 2 years, Michael went into a self-imposed exile, primarily staying with Sheikh Abdullah in Bahrain. He returned to the U.S. in late 2006, after which he kept a very low profile with minimal interviews and appearances. Michael was truly a sensitive soul, and the trial took an immense toll on his spirit. During these last couple years, he avoided the U.S. spotlight and began preparing for his This Is It London residency. Upon his death, numerous people noted that the man being taken out of Jackson's home on a stretcher receiving oxygen didn't look like Michael. I was visiting LA and went by the home he died in, and while there were gates and it was more open than many LA celebrity mansions, I really couldn't see much inside those gates. Then crude videos showing him standing up and walking out of the ambulance at the back of the Ronald Reagan UCLA Medical Center circulated, but were later shown to be fake. But Michael's memory didn't die when he allegedly did. There were multiple sightings after his death. Blurred photos claiming to be him in Paris surfaced around 2011. In 2009, someone in a New Orleans bar had similar features. There's been several reported sightings in Australia and New Zealand, with one witness saying that he actually had a conversation with Michael, who reportedly apologized to his fans for faking his death. All of these reports talk about at least one or more security guards with the subject. There was another supposed sighting at Harrods department store in London around January 2011. Harrods is owned by Mohammed Al Fayed, father of Princess Diana's fiancée, Jodi Al Fayed, who allegedly died with her in that tunnel accident. The witness reports that they were asked to leave the furniture department, where they and a few others were shopping, and all were told to leave down the escalator. This particular person went back up the escalator to see what was going on and hid behind a sofa. He said they were about to leave when a group of 6 men in suits entered the area, saying things like, not yet, and get him secure. Has the area been cleared? After a few minutes, they reported that someone in a dark suit and sunglasses came through the door, and it was unmistakably Michael Jackson. Al Fayed was a very close and trusted friend of Jackson. Also, 2 notable psychics maintain that Jackson is still alive and will be returning to the limelight by the end of the year. Now, I don't know about that, but that would definitely be an interesting and welcomed event. There's a website called Michael Jackson Sightings. I've included a link in the description of emails that they report that they have received. But there's another link to the person who is the most credible authority related to whether Michael is alive or not, and her name is Pearl Jr. Pearl is considered by many to be the authority on the Michael Jackson hoax. She's been photographed with most of the Jackson family, has a YouTube channel, and has been involved with the creation of 5 different videos about Michael's status, one of which is entitled A Prisoner of Fame, which is free on YouTube and lays out quite an elaborate plan of deception using a frozen body that had been surgically modified to look like Michael. It sounds far-fetched, but then I remembered everything that the elite can do, and the fact that Michael was quite interested in freezing his body. Take a look at the video, which of course is linked in the description. Let me know what you think. One of the strongest proofs come from Michael himself in a video for the song entitled "Remember the Time," which questions why things changed in a love affair. The way the video portrays this song is quite odd. It shows going back in time to ancient Egypt with Eddie Murphy as the pharaoh and supermodel Iman as Cleopatra. These figures in the video clearly represents the elite ruling class with a model thrown in. Cleo asks the pharaoh what he's going to do to entertain her, and a mysterious figure in a black robe walks up and stands before them. The pharaoh asks him what it is that he's going to do, and then the mysterious wizard drops some dust and spontaneously disappears before their eyes, leaving the elite in shock. The golden dust then spirals upward, and Michael Jackson emerges in a gold costume with a phoenix on his chest, where he sings and dances the song. The video ends with a hieroglyphic of the jackal-headed god Anubis, which is the Egyptian god of mummification, afterlife, and dead guiding souls. Jackson is then chased by the guards and once again disappears into the gold dust. We were told that their symbolism would be the downfall of the Dark Ones, and many of the symbols used by the Illuminati, like the all-seeing eye and the pyramid, trace back to this same era in Egyptian history. I'll link the video for you to check out. There's so much in this video pointing to a magical disappearance and re-emergence of the magician when you understand the symbolism. But I wouldn't bring it up if there wasn't more. As it turns out, Remember the Time itself was rehearsed for the This Is It show, but was ultimately cut. Still, Michael showed up at his last rehearsal wearing the Grim Reaper's robe that he wore in the video, just before he disappeared. No record could be found that he ever worn that robe to rehearsal before. Only that day, 2 days before he died, and the song had already been cut from the performance. If you find all of this hard to believe that there is some big plan of disappearing and cloned people, I suggest that you write this and hang it up somewhere prominent. When do coincidences become statistically impossible? And just look at it as the plan unfolds to help you awaken. I hope I've given you some things to think about for some, and for others, I hope I have provided further validation of the mankind's unseen war that is underway. We're in this together, guys, and my prayer is that more and more of us will put aside the justified anger and connect on a higher level. It's time to move on. Some call it 5D. I call it higher density awareness, and it's very attainable for all of us. Focus and awareness are the practices that will bring one to a higher vibrational reality. Join me. The ex-pharmacist Clean Living Lab will launch in early May with an opening library of videos about toxins and natural medicines. One of the first new videos will help you set up your kitchen to minimize exposure to forever micro and nanoplastics. I can tell you that it's an overwhelming task to remove plastics from our food, but in my opinion, they are the most immediate concerns. I have a priority list and tips on how to remove plastics from your food as cheaply and conveniently as possible. I'm excited about this project, and we will have weekly live podcasts and Q&As once I figure out how to do them. Don't forget to subscribe, ring the bell for notifications of my new content and expansion announcements. I promise you that you will find that the Clean Living Lab will help put you on the path to a healthier lifestyle without compromising what you love. Until next time, remember this. The food you eat can be either the safest and most powerful form of medicine or the slowest form of poison.